This is a big story. Jimmy Fallon is currently under fire after hosting a very controversial guest on The Tonight Show. So the guest was Fox News host and right-wing satirist Greg Gutfeld. So he is known for his kind of edgy comedy style. He's also known for making a lot of really controversial comments. Here's one for you, suggesting that conservatives should reclaim the word Nazi. Okay. Well, the interview with Fallon, it did not get into politics at all, but viewers were less than impressed that he actually even had Gutfeld on his show in the first place. Conservative comedian, the guy himself, Gutfeld, he even got flack from his own audience. Why did you show up on Fallon's show? So both ways getting flack. So should Fallon have had this guy on his show?
It's interesting. I feel like many of you in this audience, I'd never heard of this guy before today. So I did a little bit of research on him and I watched a couple things and I thought if this is what conservatives think is funny, it explains a lot in life. They're not funny at all, in my opinion. But here's where I'll go with what we don't know what we don't know. We work in television. Jimmy Fallon may very well have been told, listen, you're having this guy on the show. Yeah. And we've done that. We've had, do I have to remind anyone? We had Dr. Oz sitting right here on this panel at one point in time. It was before he got into politics, but we've done some stuff, so it can happen. So I just wonder how much say he might have had. What the only thing I will say though is that there was a way to have this guy on the show and still maybe ask him some pointed questions, and he didn't do that.
Yeah, I was thinking, but is Fallon even capable of that, though, asking those types of questions? He rarely does it, right? He doesn't go there. But I personally didn't have, I don't have a problem with him being on the show. I think I'd have a bigger problem with him not being on the show, in fact.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, answer why shouldn't he have been on the show?
Because he represents a certain kind of brand that isn't necessarily Jimmy Fallon's brand. And Jimmy Fallon also previously has been taken to task. He had Trump on the show a while ago, and people really were like, you softballed him. You were the part of the reason why he got into power, because he was ruffling his hair. You're not the right person to have this kind of a person.
What if he was on, I don't know, maybe I'm being nostalgic about talk shows, and it feels like talk show hosts used to have a lot more liberty to poke their guests, to make fun of their guests, to challenge them, to joke at their guests. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I wish Jimmy would have done that, or that there was a talk show late night platform that still kind of did that thing.
Oh, they exist.
Do they?
Wait. That platform exists. Lots of talk shows like that exist. One of them just got his show canceled.
Yeah, fair. That's the next,
And I'll say this, it's very interesting to me because I feel like we all just got played. And hear me out. We just talked about the fact that nobody knows who this guy is or is listening to his show, but guess what we're doing here today? And I think it's not a mistake. He's dumb, but he's not stupid. He knew exactly whose show to go to. For the very reasons that you just mentioned.
The comedian.
Because he knew Fallon wouldn't push back.
Because he knows that Fallon, we've all watched Fallon. Fallon is the pussycat compared to everybody else.
Invited?
No, but
he had to be invited. You don't get to say you're going to be on the show.
Just hear me out. But he chose specifically because he didn't go on The View. He didn't sit in front of Colbert. There's a lot of talk shows, and he didn't choose those talk shows. And I think he did that by design because he knows that Jimmy's not going to pull punches. He's not going to call him out on the Nazi comment. He knows that Jimmy's just going to play nice and laugh at all of his jokes. And I think he also knows that the left is also eating their own. So say Fallon's producers decided to not have this guy on for all of these reasons. He's said racist remarks, he's too edgy, he's too much on the right. Well, this guy would have used his platform to do what? He would have taken Fallon's show to task and told all his people, see, they're too woke, they don't want to have me on, they're too afraid to have me on. But at the same time, at this current moment, Trump is going after who? All of these late night talk show hosts. So Jimmy's people have to really think about what they're gonna do and who they're gonna say no to. On the other end, if you have him on, the left are gonna do what? They're doing it right now. You're gonna take to your social media and go, cancel Jimmy. How can he do this?
I'm never watching you again.
I'm never watching you again. So this was a win-win for the guest and a lose for Jimmy either way. He was between a rock and a hard place. And
I
we
want
are
to talk about Jimmy's interest. Yeah, I don't disagree. I took this I took this totally from the survival instinct of a television host. Television is under pressure. We just saw Stephen Colbert's show get canceled. He's on until, I think, May, so he's still on the air. But why was he canceled? A lot of people are not satisfied because people are saying he was the highest rated nighttime talk show host. He wasn't canceled because nobody was watching. A lot of people say that Trump had everything to do with that firing.
Yeah, they're going. He's gunning for everybody.
The question now is, Jimmy Fallon is out of all the late night shows, he's number 4. He's 4th in the ratings. So to me, this is purely a business move. I don't think that Gutfeld's people went to Fallon and said, hey, can our guy be on your show? I actually think Fallon's team went out and asked Gutfeld to be on the show.
I don't
I'll tell you why.
I'm curious.
Hold on, I gotta
Okay,
finish making my
go
point.
for it. Yeah, go for it.
Follow the numbers. I don't think that just because Jimmy Fallon is not a political host, that this wasn't a political move. I think that in 2025, with Trump as president, everything that has to do with business that he can control, all the way to firing late night show hosts, means all the business decisions now are political. Even if Fallon has been a sort of a jokey, you know, he's a goofy guy. Yeah. He doesn't get political. But if your actual existence is up for grabs right now, he doesn't just worry about paying his bills. He's got a huge, it takes 60 people to do this show, which means how many people is he feeding just to do the Jimmy Fallon show?
I don't disagree
So
with
I
you.
think when you look at ratings alone, he's number 4. He gets 1.7 million average nightly viewers. Guess how much this Gutfeld guy gets on his show? 3.3 million a night. He is tripling. He triples Fallon's ratings. It's actually better for Fallon to invite this guy on than vice versa.
No. I think, wait, you just made a point, but I think the problem is Fallon just invited his own replacement. Because if I'm the executive and we're talking money, I go, Jimmy's been here for how many years? Jimmy's been here for how many years? And he's got 1.7. This guy's on and he gets 3.3. Well, you know what? Jimmy, we had this guy on, we looked at him, we liked him. You know what? This could be the end of Jimmy and maybe Gutfeld, who wants, all of these people on YouTube want to be on legitimate television.
He's on Fox.
I don't know who this guy is, so
I
don't know this guy.
Just to wrap this up, he has a show on Fox. So immediately after I watched the clip of Jimmy Fallon having this guy on the show, I thought I'm going to watch this guy's show after it. And the caption was, "Thanks for Jimmy putting me on this. It was a risk for him," or something like that. He said it took guts for Fallon to have him on because he knew the left would come for him. So he initially was sort of saying, okay, you know, whatever. Where he went on Fallon and basically the two of them hung out and talked about beer and drinking and nothing political and whatever. The reverse one of the after show was completely political and completely talking about the culture wars and completely. So you're right. There is an agenda here.
The agenda is this. Trump was on the news last week, and this is what he said. On August the 6th, President Trump said, Fallon has no talent. Kimmel has no talent. They're next. They're going to go.
Yeah. Whoa. So the rock and the hard place that I was talking about.
Yeah. Listen, I think it's very easy for people to say you should fight back or whatever the word is. When you have to worry about helping people feed their families, you're going to make different decisions. And he's a boss. And I'm not saying I'm a fan. I don't watch his show. And maybe he's great. But I do have, everything is political in the age of Trump, even if you're not political.
You know what I'd love the left to learn how to do? Ignore. There are a bunch of school teachers in here, right? Yeah. What do you do when you have a student who's constantly making noise looking for attention? You ignore them. Yeah. You don't give them more attention. I wish we would learn how to do that. Yeah. Instead of getting goaded into it and giving this guy, Gutfeld, whatever his name is, more airtime. Because we're playing right into their hand. Saying.
Keep an eye on your DMs for this guy. No, for that guy. What's his name?
I don't know.
Gutfeld. Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.